You threw something away this week that was perfectly fine. Not kind of fine. Not probably okay. Perfectly fine. And the company that made it? They were counting on you to do exactly that. Today we're exposing 30 everyday products, food, household, personal care, that have no real expiration date. And we're going to show you the billion-dollar system designed to make sure you never find out. Because here's what nobody tells you. The United States FDA does not require expiration dates on most products. Most of what you see on packaging? It's a Best Buy suggestion, a marketing tool, a number invented by the brand, not a scientist, not a regulator, the brand. Stay until the end. Because number one is something you have probably thrown away this month. Quick disclaimer before we go. We're talking shelf stability and proper storage here. If something smells wrong, looks wrong, or your gut says don't, trust that. This isn't a dare. It's information the industry buried. Okay, 30 items. Let's go. Number 30, white vinegar. We're starting here because it's almost too perfect. White vinegar is an acid, a preservative. It is literally what companies use to make other things last longer. The idea that it would expire is scientifically absurd. Distilled white vinegar has an indefinite shelf life. The acidity may soften very slightly over many years, but it's still vinegar, still sanitizes, still cleans, still works. That bottle in your cabinet with the Best Buy date from 3 years ago, use it right now. Nothing has changed inside it. Number 29, pure vanilla extract. This one makes bakers furious when they find out. Pure vanilla extract, the real stuff, not the imitation, is roughly 35% alcohol by volume. It's basically a flavored spirit. And alcohol is a preservative. Vanilla extract does not expire. In fact, the longer it sits, the more developed and complex the flavor gets. It's aging like a fine whiskey in your spice cabinet. And yet manufacturers slap a 2 to 4 year date on the bottle. Why? Because vanilla is expensive. If you think it's expired, you buy a new one. That's the game. Number 28, pencils. Yes, pencils. A standard graphite pencil is made of wood and compressed graphite clay. Neither material degrades in any meaningful way under normal storage conditions. Art supply stores routinely sell vintage pencils from the 1960s and 70s that write perfectly. Collectors use them. Professional illustrators seek them out. And yet, school supply packs come with replace yearly messaging on the packaging. Why? Because back to school season is a billion-dollar sales window, and it only works if you believe last year's pencils aren't good enough. Number 27, soy sauce. Soy sauce has been around for over 2,000 years. Ancient civilizations were using fermented soy paste before expiration dates existed as a concept. An opened bottle, properly sealed and refrigerated, lasts indefinitely. Unopened? Same. The salt content is so high that bacteria simply cannot survive in it. Quality, color, flavor depth can shift slightly over years, but shifted is not expired. It's still soy sauce. It's still safe. Number 26, wooden furniture. Wax and beeswax polish, pure beeswax, carnauba wax, paste waxes with no water content. These products have no expiration mechanism. Wax is wax. It doesn't oxidize into something harmful. It doesn't grow bacteria. It doesn't break down in a way that damages surfaces. A tin of furniture paste wax sitting in your garage for 6 years still works perfectly. The date on the lid, if there even is one, is there for liability reasons, not science. Number 25. Cornstarch. Pure cornstarch is a dry, refined starch with essentially zero moisture. Bacteria and mold need moisture to grow. Without it, nothing happens. A sealed box in a cool, dry cabinet has an indefinite shelf life. Even opened, as long as no moisture gets in, it lasts effectively forever. The Best Buy date exists because the company has to put something on the box. It doesn't reflect any real chemical change happening inside. Number 24, safety razor blades. This one is going to make you look at your bathroom cabinet differently. Disposable razor blades, the multi-pack of replaceable cartridges sitting in your drawer, don't expire from the material itself. The steel doesn't degrade sitting in the package. The edge doesn't dull in a wrapper. What shortens blade life is use and moisture during use. The replace every 5 to 10 shaves recommendation popularized by Gillette, the company that makes more money the more blades you buy, has been scrutinized by independent testing labs for decades. Many users report clean, comfortable shaves at triple that usage with proper drying between uses. Unused stored blades and packaging can last years, decades. The date on the box is a manufacturer suggestion with enormous financial motivation behind it. Number 23, baking soda. There is an entire cultural ritual around putting baking soda in your fridge, waiting 30 days, and throwing it out. Arm & Hammer literally markets to this. They made it part of the product experience. Here's the truth. Baking soda, pure sodium bicarbonate, does not expire. It does lose potency very slowly when exposed to moisture or odors, but a simple test tells you everything. Drop a teaspoon into hot water with a splash of vinegar. If it fizzes vigorously, completely fine. The monthly fridge swap ritual, a marketing masterstroke, not a science. Number 22, rubbing alcohol, Isopropill alcohol, the 70% or 91% solution in your first aid kit. It doesn't expire in the dangerous sense. The active ingredient remains effective well past its printed date. What happens over time is that it can slowly lose concentration as the alcohol component evaporates through the cap seal. But you'd need years of poor storage for that to meaningfully reduce its effectiveness. That bottle from 2 years, Ago, still disinfects, still cleans wounds, still works on electronics. The date on it is a manufacturer guarantee of concentration, not a cliff edge where it suddenly becomes water. Number 21, pure honey. Archaeologists excavating 3,000-year-old Egyptian tombs found sealed jars of honey. They tested it. It was still edible. 3,000 years. Honey is hygroscopic. It pulls moisture out of its environment rather than absorbing it, and its natural pH is acidic enough to kill almost any microorganism. In a sealed container, it doesn't expire. Period. Now, it will crystallize. It'll get thick and grainy. And every year, millions of people mistake that completely normal crystallization for expiration and throw it out. Just warm it gently in hot water. It liquefies. It's fine. You just threw away liquid gold because nobody told you this. Number 20, wire and electrical tape. Standard vinyl electrical tape, not stored in extreme heat. Lasts 5 years minimum according to most manufacturer data. In normal storage, significantly longer. But here's the thing, that 5-year figure is a performance guarantee, not a safety cliff. A well-stored roll past its date doesn't suddenly lose adhesion overnight. It degrades gradually, and if it's still sticky, it's still working. The rolls sitting in your toolbox from 3 years ago, test the adhesion. If it sticks, it works. The date is a quality guarantee, not an expiry warning. Number 19, white rice. White rice, polished, refined, sealed, will last 25 to 30 years in proper storage. Studies from emergency food organizations have confirmed this repeatedly. 25 years. In airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, it stores for decades. Even in a regular sealed pantry bag, you're looking at many years past any printed date. Brown rice is different. The oils in the brand go rancid. But white rice is, for practical purposes, a permanent pantry staple with an expiration date that's almost insulting in how conservative it is. Number 18, rubber bands. Rubber bands degrade from 2 things: UV light and ozone exposure. Not from time alone in a drawer. A bag of rubber bands kept away from sunlight and heat lasts years beyond any use by suggestion. They may dry out slightly at the surface, they may lose some elasticity at the extremes, but a rubber band that still stretches is still a rubber band. Office supply chains sell bulk replenishment packs aggressively. The idea that rubber bands expire is one of the quieter lies in the stationery world. Number 17, pure maple syrup. Maple syrup shares a lot with honey's chemistry. High sugar concentration, low moisture, naturally antimicrobial. Unopened, indefinite shelf life. Opened and refrigerated, mold can form on the surface over time. And here's what the industry doesn't want you to know. You skim that mold, boil the syrup for a few minutes, and it's perfectly safe. That's a documented fact from multiple food scientists and syrup producers in Quebec. But most people see mold and throw the whole bottle out. And buy another one. Number 16, Superglue. Superglue expires, but almost entirely because of how it's stored, not because of its inherent chemistry. An open tube? Air exposure causes it to cure inside and clog. That's a storage problem, not an expiration problem. An unopened tube past its date? If it pours freely, it bonds. Full stop. The date is a guarantee of performance for an unopened product, and a very conservative one at that. Refrigerating unopened tubes extends their usable life dramatically, something the packaging never mentions. Number 15, salt. Salt is literally a mineral. It was mined from the earth. It has been sitting in geological formations for millions of years. Pure salt, no iodine additives, does not expire. Ever. It has no chemical structure that degrades, oxidizes, or supports microbial growth. Iodized salt is slightly different. The iodine compound can break down, over time reducing iodine content. But the salt itself, still perfectly safe indefinitely. The use-by date on salt is arguably the most dishonest expiration date in the entire food industry. Number 14, Activated charcoal products. Activated charcoal in filter form, in capsules, in skincare is carbon. Highly porous carbon that absorbs particles and toxins. The carbon itself does not degrade. And what affects its effectiveness is saturation. Whether the pores have already been filled from use or prolonged air exposure, an activated charcoal capsule sealed in its blister pack, stored in cool, dry conditions past its printed date, still performing at or near full capacity. The date reflects the manufacturer's testing period, not an actual change in the material. Number 13, distilled spirits, vodka, gin, whiskey, rum, tequila. Spirits above 40%. ABV do not expire. The alcohol itself is the preservative. An unopened bottle will be identical in 50 years to what it is today. Opened bottles lose top notes, volatile aromatic compounds, over years of oxidation, but they don't become unsafe. They don't go bad in any dangerous sense. And yet people throw away half bottles of decent spirits found in the back of a cabinet because they assumed the worst. Pour it. It's fine. It always was. Number 12, batteries. Standard alkaline batteries, AAAAA 9 volts, have a printed expiration date of 5 to 10 years. But here's what that date actually means. It's when the manufacturer guarantees at least 80% of original capacity. It doesn't mean the battery is dead at that date. It doesn't mean it's become hazardous. It means they won't guarantee a performance level they can't test for after a decade of unknown storage conditions. Batteries stored in a cool, dry place routinely test functional well past their dates. Independent tests have confirmed this for both alkaline and lithium chemistries. Well, that drawer full of old batteries, test them before you trash them. A $5 battery tester pays for itself the first week. Number 11, dried beans. Survival food experts and FEMA emergency preparedness guides both confirm properly stored dried beans last 25 to 30 years, maybe longer. The catch, and this matters, is that older beans take longer to cook and may never fully soften no matter what you do. Their texture degrades over time, but from a food safety standpoint, edible for decades past any printed date. This is one where the best buy date is at least somewhat honest. It reflects quality, not safety. But companies don't explain that distinction. They let you assume expired means dangerous. Number 10, matches. A sealed box of Strike Anywhere or Strike on Box matches, stored away from moisture and humidity, will light indefinitely. The phosphorus and sulfur compounds are stable under normal conditions. Damp is the enemy, not time. Matches are one of those products where the best buy date is pure legal convention with zero chemical basis. No one has run a serious study on match degradation under normal storage conditions because the answer is too obvious. They don't. Number 9, dried spices. Whole dried spices, peppercorns, cinnamon sticks, dried chili flakes, do not go bad. They lose potency. The volatile oils that give them flavor and heat dissipate slowly over time. But they're not unsafe. Ground spices lose potency faster, but less potent is not expired. If your 2-year-old ground cumin still smells like something, add more of it. That's the entire solution. The spice industry sells enormous amounts of product based on people clearing their spice rack every 1 to 2 years. At $8 to $15 a jar, that adds up to staggering amounts of perfectly usable product going directly into the trash. Number 8, white sugar. Same logic as salt. Sugar is a simple carbohydrate in crystalline form. There's nothing in it that degrades, oxidizes, or supports microbial growth. It clumps, it hardens, but clumped. Sugar is still sugar. Break it up, run it through a food processor, and use it. The date on a bag of sugar is a legal formality in most countries. It means almost nothing scientifically. And yet, it moves product off shelves every single day. Number 7, over-the-counter medications. This one matters in a different way. In 1986, the U.S. Department of Defense commissioned a study because they were destroying millions of dollars of stockpiled medications every time they hit their expiration dates. The question, were those dates real? They tested over 100 prescription and over-the-counter drugs. The result, 90% were completely effective years, sometimes decades, past their printed expiration date. The FDA's shelf life extension program has since confirmed this for dozens of drugs, including common pain relievers and antihistamines. The printed expiration date is when the manufacturer guarantees full potency, not when the drug becomes unsafe or ineffective. Now, this doesn't apply equally to everything. Liquid medications, certain antibiotics like tetracycline, and medications with narrow dosing windows are different. Follow the date on those. But that bottle of ibuprofen from last year sitting in your medicine cabinet, the research says it's almost certainly still fine. Number 6, sunscreen. The FDA does regulate sunscreen expiration dates. It requires a 3-year minimum shelf life guarantee. So the real problem isn't the date. It's that most people throw sunscreen away well before 3 years because the packaging looks old, the bottle feels wrong, or they just assume. An open sunscreen stored properly, not baked in a hot car, not left in direct sun, lasts the full 3 years, often longer. The real enemy of sunscreen isn't time, it's heat during storage. A new bottle left in your car all summer is less effective than a 2-year-old bottle kept in a cool cabinet. Nobody tells you that, because selling you a new bottle every season is a better business model than explaining storage. Number 5, cosmetics and powder makeup. The period. After opening symbol, that little open jar icon that says 12 months or 24 months, is not a regulatory expiration date in most countries. It's a manufacturer recommendation based on quality and liability, not tested safety science. Most powder-based cosmetics, eyeshadow, blush, bronzer, are so low in moisture that they can last many years past that recommendation without harboring bacteria. Products with real safety windows are water-based formulas, eye area products, and mascara. Mascara genuinely should be replaced regularly because every application introduces bacteria via the wand. But the industry has successfully made consumers believe all makeup expires at the same aggressive rate. The global cosmetics market is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Getting you to replace products before you need to is structural to how that market functions. Number 4, dried pasta. Dried pasta, semolina, and water shaped and dried, has a printed shelf life of 1 to 2 years. Its actual shelf life, 3 to 5 years minimum in normal pantry storage. In sealed airtight conditions, significantly longer. No moisture, no oils, no proteins complex enough to degrade meaningfully over a few extra years. The pasta you found in the back of the cabinet from 2 years ago is not a mystery, it's pasta. Cook it. Number 3, paint. Latex paint, if the lid is sealed properly, can last 10 years. Oil-based paint, up to 15 years. The 2-year shelf life implied on most paint cans is a retailer and manufacturer convention tied to color consistency guarantees, not to whether the paint works. The test is simple. Open it, stir it for several minutes. If it blends to a uniform consistency with no chunks, it's usable. Thousands of people dump gallons of perfectly good paint every year because the can looks old. And paint is not cheap. A gallon of quality interior latex can run $50 to $80. That old can, yes. And your garage might represent a full room recoat sitting right there, waiting. Number 2, condiment packets. Those packets of soy sauce, hot sauce, ketchup, and mustard from your takeout drawer. Ketchup packets, 1 year printed. Actually, much longer. Mustard packets, 1 to 2 years printed. Same story. Soy sauce packets, indefinite. Hot sauce packets, 2 or more years easily. These are sealed single-serve packets containing high acid or high salt contents, designed to be stored at room temperature. The food safety case for throwing them away before their printed dates is essentially non-existent. The food safety case for throwing them away long after those dates is, for most of them, also thin. But the dates are there, and they work, and you throw them out. Number 1, pure soap. Soap, pure soap, cannot become a breeding ground for bacteria. Soap kills bacteria. It is fundamentally, chemically self-preserving. Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, saponified plant oils and water. The company itself has stated the product is effective indefinitely if stored properly. Bar soaps made with no added fragrances or botanicals? Same story. And yet there is a printed expiration date on the bottle, on the bar, on the package. Why? Because in many countries and US states, putting a cosmetic product on the shelf without a date creates regulatory complications. So companies print dates. Consumers assume those dates mean something they don't. And bottles of perfectly good soap get thrown out by the millions. Here's the truth this entire video has been building to. Expiration dates exist in 2 categories. Real ones, based on actual chemical change, actual safety research, actual regulatory requirements. And manufactured ones, based on legal convention, marketing strategy, and the simple fact that an expiration date makes you a repeat customer. The industry doesn't distinguish between those 2 categories on the label. That distinction is invisible, and that invisibility is not an accident. That's it for me today. I hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.